On May 3rd, 2020, I set a world record time in a game that to this day has yet to be beaten. With it now being a 4-way tie, it is now 754 days old as of uploading this. And besides editing the title till it is beaten, I will pay $100 to whoever beats it first. So, what did I set the record in? Well, I'm glad you asked. After running over 80 games over the span of 7+ years, I have explored quite a wide array of genres and tricks, and while a lot of them are probably insignificant the most, I've also picked up some world records during my journey. The one world record I want to talk to you about today is in Eminem's kart racing. And yes, before you laugh, I know, get it out. It may be one of the most infamous and laughable Wii games ever, but after putting a shocking amount of hours into it, the layers get deeper and deeper. While the quality in my opinion doesn't come close to what I make now since I finally know how to use a microphone properly, if you really want to know more, you can view my April Fool's 2021 video, which documents Eminem's kart racing's entire speedrun history up to that point, which surprisingly took over an hour to talk about. While I'd love to talk to you for another hour straight about a really low budget game, maybe I'll do that again someday. Today I want to focus on one specific track, and that is the very last one in the game, the stadium. This track is a basic loop, with the only obstacles being tires that are scattered along the entire inside. Due to the basic nature of this track, this level has had the least amount of improvement between the first ever record and what it has been currently sitting at for a couple years. The difference is only about 2/3 of a second. That doesn't mean you'll tie the record on your first try though. Besides wanting to stay as close to the inside of the loop, you'll also have to avoid these tires. If you played this game for even a fraction of a second, you'll know how horrible collisions and hitboxes are in this game. There's a pretty high chance that when making your way around these tires, your speed will drop for seemingly no reason. If this happens even once, your chances of getting an optimal time is done. Around the very last bend, we also discovered that you could fit between these last set of tires and the wall. To make it easier, you'll mostly see players do a shake to make the kart jump, but it can even be done without doing that. We have simply dubbed this tire clip. Analyzing all 3 runs, one of them had an obvious speed drop, and each run had slightly wider turns. It was obvious this can be improved, even if it was by very little. After noticing these minor mistakes myself, I returned to the track in May of 2020 and would set the very record I am talking about today. At this point, to even tie the record, you were required to get clean lines, a solid tire clip, and not let your speed drop below the flickering 259 and 260, since this game has amazing programming. With Fricks tying me just 2 days later, #Frick still needs a capture card, both of us agreed it was extremely unlikely this would ever be beaten, and a 29.6 time sort of became a mythical legend between us and anyone that had too much free time to care. Neither of us wanted to figure out if an improvement was even possible, because who wants to spend time on a virtual circle for hours and hours? After my April Fool's 2021 video that I mentioned earlier, the game had a few more eyes compared to usual, and some even seriously picked up the game thanks to it. The most notable person from that bunch being Jeremy MKW, who notably is a top retro Mario runner and has held a couple records in Super Mario Bros. He picked up the controls of this game surprisingly quick, and he tied or even flat out beat a handful of time trial records just in April. On the 14th, he put some time into the stadium and became the 3rd person to get a 29.70. Later in the year, on October 4th, a 4th person got a 29.70 and created the first ever 4-way tie in the game. Unfortunately, between the time of their run and making this video, they out of nowhere wiped all their accounts, so for their respect, we'll just call them anonymous. Throughout 2020 and 2021, there have been 4 other people to time trial this track, but nothing that would challenge the already aging 4-way tie. So exactly why am I talking about this record? If you scroll through my speedrun.com page, you'll see that I have multiple records that have been standing for way longer, and one of those is also in the same game we are talking about today, my record in the Coliseum track, which is multiple days older. The reason why I'm not talking about any of these other records is because I think, and I even know, that a majority of these can easily be beaten. I really don't think that the record in the stadium will ever be beaten, and if it does, it won't be more than a single frame. Oh yeah, something else important I should probably talk about is how the in-game timer system works. The timer in this game can only end in 0, 3, and 6. That means if someone beat the 4-way 2970 record by 1 frame, it would be a 29.66. 29.67, 29.68, and 26.69 are not possible. And that is where my $100 bounty comes in. If you can beat the 2970 record on the stadium, I will award you $100. The run must be on real hardware, whether it be any variant of the Wii or the Wii U. It has been discovered previously that faster times can be achieved using the Dolphin emulator due to lag not being emulated the same. For example, on the track Sea Carrier, someone was able to get a time multiple seconds faster than the official console record, which had already been heavily optimized at that point. Using a USB or ISO loader on console is fine, because the only differences there are loading screen times, which do not affect the actual run. This only really matters when we talk about full tournament mode runs, but that's for a completely different topic. I also want to say that back in my April Fool's 2021 video, that I put up a $100 bounty there for anyone who could find a major discovery in the game, and that has yet to still be claimed. If you both discover a major glitch, shortcut, or technicality within the game and get a 29.66, that would earn you $200. Why am I offering so much money for a record in a game as laughable as this? Well, I am really confident that the chances of this one track being beaten are really low. I really think this record could be the equivalent of Dragster, where it has been proven that a 5.57 is the fastest time for both humans and computers alike. If someone does tool assist this run to prove a faster time, then hey, maybe I'll compensate you for going to such efforts. But I ultimately really want to see a human in real time, on real original hardware, get a time faster than 2970, which is now over 2 years old as of making this. How long will this record last? 1,000 days? 5,000 days? Maybe more? Who knows? But until it is beaten, I will be frequently updating the title of this video to reflect how long the 2970 has been standing for, and I will not stop doing so until it is beaten. I do sometimes have a life, so don't at me if the number is slightly off sometimes. Please someone let me know if there's a way to automatically do this. I've already spent way too much time on virtual M&M racing simulations. If anyone wants to stay up to date with the bounties, make sure to follow my Twitter at Storster with an extra R, and my Discord server. There's also a separate Discord server for M&M's kart racing if you want to discuss literally anything, whether it's about the bounty or just simply learning about why this game is so miserable. And if you for some reason want to view the history of every M&M's kart racing record, I'll include the spreadsheet for that too. All those links will be in the description. If anything major enough does occur, maybe I will come back here to bring great news. Will this 2970 tie ever get beaten? Or will the 4-way tie just turn into a 5, 6, 7, who knows how many people way tie? Who knows? I never thought I'd make another proper video about this game ever again on this channel, but here we are. Let me know for some reason if you want me to make a proper part 2 to my long history video, cause a lot has actually happened since. There's plenty of other M&M's adventures we could go down if that's really what you're craving. Anyways, we are getting off track. Until next time, have fun.
Approaching sound barrier!